volume up, video up, and there we go.
Whoop.
So we got a 2-minute delay, but
That's not good. All right, you ready?
ready.
Let me put this away. I should have put this away first, right?
Yeah.
Starting now.
Yeah, ready
Oh,
now.
okay.
Ready
I'll
now?
start. Ready now? Wait, no, wait. It's
No,
me
wait.
playing. It's me playing a song on guitar. No, wait. All right.
No, wait,
here's-
how's it go?
Wait. Oh, wait. It goes like. Wait. Hold on. It's like. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, wait. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Does It Get Better? I'm Neil.
I'm Rich.
This is a podcast about mental health podcast about hope, but really, Rich and I both struggle with depression. I am manic, as you can see, and Rich has some other things, and and we just thought we'd share our struggles with everybody, because it helps to hear. And I think we're gonna have some guests on soon.
Yes.
It should be fun times, good, happy, fun times.
Good, happy, fun times. Yeah, just I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Aram and Patrick from Cadence Leadership. They're going to be helping us out with a couple things to bring us the ability to bring us, you folks, guests, and we can have guests and stuff. So I want to give them a big shout out because they just reached out and totally offered up some help unsolicited. So Aram and Patrick and Cadence Leadership. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. Andrew Bassin was in a band called Cadence, and he was like a social worker for a while. So maybe that's where they got the name.
Could be.
Today's episode is relapse.
Now you
Go
named the episode this week. So
I picked the topic. I think relapse takes on many forms, and I just think, like, when you originally think of the word relapse, you think of like an addict who is using again.
mhm.
But like, I also think it's just like when you're making progress and you lapse.
Yeah, you go
Yeah.
backwards. Yeah.
Yeah. And something we all deal with. I feel like my whole life I've struggled with these things. Like, I've always had like emotional issues and really bad temper and misplaced aggression and this like manic depressive switch. And sometimes I feel like I'm making really good strides, and I'll be um I guess, like, I want to say, like, I'll be in that manic mode, but I'll be able to like deal with people, you know what I mean, like not be crazy
Mhm.
in public, like,
Mhm.
like sometimes I'm just off the wall, like,
But
whatever.
internally you are, right? Like you're like,
Internally I'm off the wall,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, all right, keep it together. And then I'll have like, I'll switch back into depression, but I don't want it. Like, when I get, sometimes I can pull it back to the manic side.
Mhm.
And if I'm gonna pick one, I'd rather be, manic and silly and giddy and whatever. And like reason I chose the topic, because like the other night, like, I'm just, it's another spiral. Like, I'm in a good
Mhm.
mood all day, everything's great, and I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm being, regular fun Neil,
Old fun Neil.
old funny friend Neil. And then I like put weight on my broken foot,
Ooh. Okay.
and that was it. I was like, it's going to be another 12 weeks. I have to go back for surgery
Mm-hmm.
again. You know, whatever, all this shit. And then the worst thing that can happen when you are in that place is the blankets weren't the way they were a minute ago. And I just fucking bug out. My wife wakes up and she's like, she actually said, "What is your damage?"
Kathleen.
I was like, "Oh man, now I woke my wife up. She hates me."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just 8 hours of that, just laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, just 8 hours of hate, self-hate. And then I finally was able to like get some sleep. Like,
How did you?
sleep.
How did you? Did you just resolve yourself to being like, all right, this all sucks, and I'm just gonna fall asleep, or did you try to make yourself or make the situation better before you went to sleep?
This is gonna sound so ridiculous. Listening to death metal in headphones shuts down the noise.
Because there's so much going on. Yeah, it's like a
Because
barrier.
it's so fast and like, you know, like between the widdly widdlies and the mosh parts
Mm-hmm.
and the you know, it'll be like a sick groove and like you're trying to make out the lyrics and like, you know, names like Beg for Life and, you know, Planetary Clairvoyance, and it's just like all right, all right, take a second.
It's like a pressure release because you could. Yeah. How did you feel when you woke up? Did you immediately open your eyes and be like, "Fuck"? Was it
No, when I finally woke up, it was, you know, business as usual. Like,
yeah,
all right, you know, and we're getting close to the finish line here, like as far as like them removing the first cast.
mm-hmm.
So, like that's really helping. You know what I mean? Where I can wake up and be like, all right, I just have to swing this foot out of the bed 3 more times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you know, and it's like weird too because it's like, all right, I just have to like hobble to the bathroom 15 more times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
4 or 5 a day for 3 more days.
Uh-huh.
Like I just have to like I'll be all right. You know, I just have to do those stairs 1 more time.
That's a good way of looking at it. I mean, you have a goal. You have a goal set.
Well,
I mean,
now, you know what I mean? Like at
4 weeks ago, it was never going to happen. Yeah.
It was never coming.
Yeah.
It was never coming. And that's what's so bad is like when I accidentally put weight on it, or really it's just when I accidentally put weight on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I should just die. Like there's no reason. Like what's the point?
Do you feel like do you feel like you remove, so what I've referenced before and kind of how I've been dealing with like getting better is putting like a flag, like a reset point in moments where like I got to this great point and I felt a certain way and how I'm going to feel. That's how I'm going to move forward. And then like I get to a point like the basement floods and I have this like relapse moment where I'm like, and you know, you feel like you're falling backwards. Are you able to reset yourself to the best point that you were last at, or does it take you more than, do you lose progress basically when moments like that happen?
I don't think so. I don't think I lose progress. I never really did that like I just learned that from you.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really did that. I just was like every day, like I just have to remember that every day can be better than the last.
Yeah.
You know, like I really, because I've had like a few moments in my life where it was just like rock bottom as far as like what I thought my depression was.
Yeah.
And there was this period in like 2010, 11 where I was just like, or maybe it was 11, 12, whatever. It was like, do you remember when I was like losing, like I lost a ton of weight and I went to like umpire school and I was on tour with this asshole, and
I remember.
I just was at, you know, I was at the bottom.
Yeah.
I couldn't. The one thing that always brought me joy was traveling, and I couldn't get joy out of that. Like I just like miserable. And then I thought like, oh, like I'll get in shape, that'll help. Like that didn't help. Like nothing helped. And then like I thought that was bottom. And then like my parents died, and that was like a new, different bottom. That was a whole different bottom.
It was like a sub, like you had two bottoms to be dealing with, right? Like it didn't like compound. You just now you have two, right?
Yeah, well, because like I had just kind of started coming out of the other one where like I had a pretty good 2013 first half.
Yeah.
And then, and then it got progressively worse. And then like around 2015, 16, I kind of started to come out of that. And I had like a pretty good 15 and 16. And then like every year I was kind of like, every year's better than the last. Every year's better than the last. And then this year was rough, and then it compounded greatly at the end there.
When did you start doing comedy like as like a full time? You were like, this is me. 15. Okay.
Middle of 15.
Yeah.
So 16 was like a pretty good year because I was like, I had a good job that I enjoyed, like, and I had finally gotten into like the groove of it there. And I was making decent money and having a good time at work, and things with Kathleen were great. And, and I was, I'd like come to terms with the loss of my parents and like whatever. And then 17, I think in 17 I quit. I quit my job to do comedy.
Right.
And that was great. I think that was 17. And then I think that was 17. And then 18 was weird, but it was okay. But still, upward trajectory.
I feel like your flag points, like I reference them, are on the years. You put a flag on every year. And
well,
like you kind of,
I mean, no, I just
they're good. They're good reference points. I mean, you can you embody your mental health by the year, like what happens, which makes sense. Like this year, everybody is like 2020 sucked, right? Like we all kind of
Right? But 2020 started for me. 2020 started like every year was getting better, and 2020 kept that trajectory. Like 2020 started, right away January I toured.
Yep.
And my buddy came with me just to hang, which was like the coolest thing. Like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I'm on the road with my buddy.
Yeah.
Like, and he's just down to party. Like,
awesome.
He's just cool, like, to hang.
Yeah.
There was no, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like when you're on tour with someone and they have, like, an agenda.
Yeah. They're just
like,
just
like,
down.
Nah, man, Jesus, take the wheel, I'm Jesus in that scenario. And toured Pennsylvania, Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, all that stuff. And then February was like some contests that I like was doing pretty good in, like getting some good FaceTime with like bookers that I wanted to work with. And then March I got up in every club I wanted to work in New York City. I got up at Gotham. I got up at Caroline's. I got up at the Stand for Frantic. And I had booked the March 15th.
The day. Yeah.
March 15th, I was supposed to open. Well, the whole thing. So the 12th, 13th, and 14th, I was in Connecticut because I was supposed to open feature for Joe List. That never happened because Joe canceled because he got scared of the upcoming pandemic. The 15th, I was supposed to open for my buddy Sean Donnelly at Fat Black Pussycat, which is part of the Comedy Cellar.
Okay. Which
was the only, tick box left.
Only one more. Yep.
And 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 I was doing, there was a contest in Carolinas called March Madness that I'd always wanted to be in, and I was doing great in it.
Right.
Advancing all my rounds, and then everything. I remember that day. It was the 50th. So the 12th we got up there, and that was the day that that basketball player. So they shut down the Jazz game in the middle of the day. Like, that
Oh
was the
yeah,
first
yeah, yeah.
domino to fall.
Right.
They canceled that one game.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the 12th. And I was like, oh man. And like you could just
You felt
you
it.
could feel it.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, this is because the previous Sunday I remember also I was in the city, I was doing my buddy Ed's podcast. And I walked from his studio up the block to there was like a Potbelly sandwich shop,
Mm-hmm.
and it was empty. And I was like, why is the city empty today? And it was because people started like fearing
Yeah.
the pandemic,
Yeah.
upcoming pandemic. And then I went up to Connecticut. The basketball thing got canceled because I was like, it's not gonna happen.
Right. Right.
You know what
Did
I
I
mean?
see you? Did I see you then? Did I come to that in Connecticut? Maybe I don't think so. No, I don't think so. No,
I don't know. I don't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, I think I was
Oh,
working.
I was gonna come to you.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna come to you.
Yeah,
But
you were like cat.
I'm allergic to cats, and I was coming down with a cold.
That's right. I remember that now. Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
right.
oh, I don't want to make this worse and then not be able to perform.
That's right.
So the 12th, that show happened, and then the 13th, I'm sitting in the green room with the feature or the headliner, and we're like, are we gonna be able to get back to New York? Like, people are talking about the bridges being shut down and all this stuff.
Yeah, it was wild. Yep.
And then the 15th, it was a Sunday. And I'm very bad with dates, but for some reason,
No, that day sticks out. Yep.
so it was a Sunday, and I was hosting a workshop. Then I was gonna go do a mic. Then I had a show, and then I had the Fat Black Pussycat.
Mm-hmm.
And then Monday, my buddy Ashley Gavin had a show at New York Comedy Club, and I was going to go do that. So I'm at the mic, and at the workshop, very few people are showing up. Then that's when I get the call that Ashley's show's not going to happen tomorrow. Then I'm at the second mic. Oh, no. Before the show, I get the call that Ashley's show's not going to happen. So then I go to the mic. The mic's very poorly attended. At that mic, I get the call that Sean's show is canceled. At the second mic, I get the text that the first show is canceled.
Right.
And at that mic, like while waiting to start that mic, no one shows up and the mic gets canceled.
Oh Jesus.
And it was like, oh hell, this is gonna be awful. And then I walked outside, and there's 4 kids passing a joint around on the stairs, and I'm like, do you guys not know what's going on? And I just grabbed a slice of pizza and drove home. And that was it. And then I didn't leave the house again for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Dude, it's so brutal, man. Everything just shut down. I remember the Wednesday, the 11th was one of the contest shows at Caroline's. And it was like very poorly attended. And like that place is never poorly attended.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh man, like something's up.
You see the signs, yeah. Like so, those weird things. You're like, this never happens, and you're like this. Yeah, I was at work. I remember that Sunday. I worked every Sunday at the bar, and that Sunday, like it was like you're saying, you had that like lead up weekend, and then that night we got the work. While I was working, my manager was like, we're done. We're not opening. We're closing down. File for unemployment. And I legit got on my phone and filed for unemployment that night And I was like, okay. And then, didn't leave my house for like a month.
And so the other, like, I had a tour for the whole month of April. I was booked.
Mm-hmm.
It was Florida and South Carolina and Atlanta and Georgia. And then that was April. And then like that slowly, those dominoes slowly started getting canceled.
Right.
And then I had April, May. I didn't have anything really booked in May because like I knew I was going to be out all April. And I had 2 big weekends in June, and both those got canceled. And June, like that was the one where I was like, oh, we'll be back.
Yeah. June, that's so far away. Yeah.
And I kept texting with the woman who booked that second weekend in June. And I was like, we're cool for June, right? And she's like, well, as of now, yeah, but who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And that got canceled. And then I do this big fundraiser every year, and it got pushed from like whatever May, it got pushed to July. And then like a week later, the guy called me and was like,
we're all done.
Like, the place we're having, it's going to be out of business before this pandemic's over.
Yeah. And so for everybody, I think it was the same thing, but mentally, did you feel like the dominoes were falling there too? You were like,
right. So, my whole, past like 5 years, I've just been working towards this one goal of being a full-time comedian. You know what I mean? And there's like, you're building moment. I know. The woes be whatever. Okay. I'm just saying for me. I keep a perspective and all that shit. For me, I was working really hard towards something. It had been 5 years of, people don't understand the dues that you put it, the how taxing it is on everything, on your social life, on your relationship, on your job. Like, it's brutal. Like, living with a full-time comedian is not easy for anyone. Like, it's a brutal thing. Like I just, like, that was my Sunday, was just in the city that's the only day my wife has off of work. And I'm in the city all day work, and I just got back from a weekend away. You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy for anyone to like deal with it. Like, I know everyone has different things, but people are just like, you work 15 minutes a night. It's like, no, not
really.
I put in 12 hours a day, but I mean, it's not roofing. I know that, but like, it's also not like a simple, like, call it in.
Yeah.
So like, I had been working, this whole time towards something, like really struggling, like living, paycheck to paycheck, show to show, and building momentum and getting up at these clubs that are so hard to get in. And like, that's the other element of it, is like, to get up at a club, like, you have to hang out at the club. You got to become friends with the comics. You got to become friends with the booker. You got to become friends with the staff, and to a point where they're like, hey, how come Neil's not up here? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to also be working on your craft hard enough that when they are, well, how come Neil's not up here? And they put you up, you blow everyone away.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, that's a lot. You know what I mean? Like
staying relevant, right?
Anytime you have to be social, you have to go be social at these clubs with these comics.
Yeah.
You know? Fortunately, comics are hilarious, so it's like, it's always fun. But
hopefully they are.
I wouldn't trade it for anything else. But it is like a lot of work and a lot of momentum that I had built, and like just all gone. And it's like, who knows how long it's going to take to build that momentum back up.
You guys were doing a little bit of those, like, whatever. I know there was a little bit of controversy about trying to do stand-up things a couple months ago or whatever. Was that like
yeah, I mean, there's like there's like always a, the stay-home people that are just like, so like, no matter what. And it's like, all right, well, you live in your dad bought your house, like it's easy for you to stay home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or you work from home. You're fortunate to be able to work from home. I can't do what I do from home.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there's Zoom shows, but no one's paying me to do a weekend of Zoom shows.
Yeah.
You know what? I get $40 to do a Zoom show. What is that going to do for me?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I'm grateful. Blah blah blah. All this stuff.
Yes.
Um, so there's like that faction, and it's like, oh my god, you know, whatever. And then like, someone called me out because I went in November for Halloween weekend and the first 2 weeks of November. I went out on tour.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yep.
someone in the Midwest, you know, a club that I love working, asked me if I wanted to come out for 2 weekends, and then there was a contest on the third weekend, and I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what I sit around? Let's go get a paycheck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went and I did some comedy in the you know, in the Rust Belt or whatever they call it, the Tornado Belt,
That's
and so one of my buddies was like, oh, I can't believe, you know, and I'm like, listen, I'm wearing a mask, I'm not going near anyone, I'm not hugging anyone. The planes are gonna fly there anyway.
yeah.
I'm just
Yep.
gonna go get on a plane
Yeah.
that's already going there. They're not going for me. No one's doing anything for me.
Right.
They're gonna go to the club anyway. Someone's gonna work at that club anyway. I need to go do this. I
Sure.
need to feel whole. I need to, you know, not wallow in my, you know, depression.
Right.
Like I need to go have some semblance of being what I was.
How did that work out? Did it
It was
it was
amazing.
good? Yeah.
Blast. I came home. Well, that's what that's the, like. I mean, it's funny to me now. Um, it's funny now because like I got back from that trip, and I mean, other people are not like I am much more careful than other people.
Uh-huh. You always kind of have been a little bit, I think, right? Like just kind of a little bit of
I'm
a
not a hugger or a toucher.
yeah.
I don't want you in my space
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm very much a sit at home on the couch with my wife thing. Like this pandemic, I would have been doing it anyway. I just missed, like I would joke that I just missed being able to tell people no. You know, like um so I was super careful. I went out and other people were not careful at all. Like, you know, there's this one comedian that I'm friends with. He's a professional poker player out in Vegas, and we were hanging out at like, first of all, I was in a comedy club every night.
Yeah.
2 shows a night most nights. Wear your mask, stay away from people, you know.
Yeah.
Follow the things.
Right.
I was in a casino for 6 days because I was in Vegas. Like we wanted to eat all the time. Like I was in a restaurant in Kansas where the staff wasn't wearing masks.
Wow.
And I was like, ugh. But everything was fine.
Yeah.
Like, and one was saying, this professional poker player guy. So who knows what he's doing all day? Like who knows who he's around?
Right.
But when he would talk, he would like pull the mask away from his face and like lean in to talk. And I'm like,
Whoa.
And when I came home, I was like, if I didn't catch COVID,
It's a miracle.
I said I can't catch it. If I didn't catch it, I can't catch it. You know Phil Capone, right?
Yeah.
So Phil Capone and I always joke that we have like, we call it the 52X gene. But I don't know if he has some other reason for it, but we call it the 52X gene, and it like keeps us from like he says like he can't catch.
You're immortal, basically. Yeah.
He can't catch sexually transmitted diseases, you know. And like I'm like, oh, I can't catch COVID because I got the 52X. So I went and got tested right away. I didn't have it, and then I got another test and went and did like a writing workshop with like some of the local comedians, like some of the newer comics. And then I was coming home from that, like, oh, and I bought a jacket that day. I went to DXL, bought a nice winter coat because I was like, ah, it's getting cold. And I was feeling good about, you know, I had just got back from tour, and you know, we had open mics on Long Island again, and I was like, all right, we're gonna
do it.
I'm gonna be a comedian.
Yeah,
still.
yeah.
A comedian. And then I was just bounding down the stairs, and I missed a step.
Ugh.
And I was so happy to show my wife the new jacket.
Oh man.
I was just hanging there.
Were you
and I
like,
was
were you holding it and you like fell down the steps with it? You're like, honey, look, whoa.
Well, yeah, like I had it in my hand. It actually like.
Did
I
you
had
really?
that- yeah.
Did you trip on the jacket? Is it like the ultimate like fu? Like you tripped on the jacket, the one thing that made you happy, like ruined
Well, it was like
everything.
no, it was like the last thought that went through my head before breaking my ankle was like, I can't catch COVID. I'm invincible. Oh, I'm actually quite vincible.
Yeah, very vincible. Vincible over here.
Super vincible. So yeah, so that was it. I don't know if that's a relapse.
Well, I mean, is it a relapse? Like, is it a relapse? Like when it, I mean, we've been talking, this is the 5th week we've been talking. The first week we talked, you were just like everything was over. Everything was so.
Yeah.
You know,
it's definitely gone like this.
Yeah. So the point of hurting yourself from all, I mean, sure. Yeah. It's a relapse, but I think it's a setback. I think there's this a differentiation between the two, right?
Yeah,
like it's a setback
sure.
versus a relapse.
A relapse, I think, is a continued, right? It's
Yeah.
like a. So we call this episode setbacks.
Setbacks and relapse. I mean, I've definitely relapsed in my behavior, like my behavior patterns, like went like, you know, ups and downs, like those extreme mental roller coasters that I was on, like being like, I can't do this anymore, and like get to a point, get so frustrated and be like, I did it again. So that's like like for me, like a relapse in those thought patterns and behavior patterns. Like, not gonna do it anymore. I'm not gonna let myself get that frustrated, or I'm not gonna have these like manic thoughts or catastrophic thinking. And then I do, and then like it all like unfolds, you know. And that's like, for me, the relapses are like, they were bad. And now it's like a relapse for me is like, I'll keep referencing the like crying on the steps when my basement started leaking. You know what I mean? Like that's as bad as it got. Like I said, you know, I thought about letting myself like defeat myself. You know, I had that internal battle, like, you could go punch that wall right now and then patch it up because you own this house and it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, you know, like I wasn't gonna, but I had that like almost like funny thought, like, hey, I could, you know what I mean? Like it at this point, as far as I've come, I can joke with myself about it. You know, I'm not going to do it anymore because what does it get me? It hurts and it destroys something, and it's just a negative thing. But I think relapse is like, yeah, but I mean, from what you told me, like it's definitely a roller coaster, but from the point of hurting your foot to now, do you think you've relapsed at all in those like 4 weeks that you've been, I mean, I'm sure it's probably been like a little wavy, right? Like, you know, like you dropped the food thing, and that, I mean, that's kind of like a little bit of a set you back, relapsed into that, like,
that didn't really set me back because I was still in that mire at
mm-hmm.
that point.
Okay, that makes sense.
So what is it? This is week 7 since breaking the ankle, and week 6 since the operation.
Okay.
Those first 3 or 4 weeks were brutal.
Yeah.
When the cast finally came on, it was like, okay, at least I can see, like I can mark in time a finish line. And that started to improve.
Yeah. Yep.
And like the past 3 weeks, you know, as you noted, like I've definitely been, my baseline has definitely been cheerier.
Yes. Yeah.
I sink down, especially at night, or, like if I see my wife like struggling with something, you know, or like getting visibly frustrated at like her workload, like that's when I'm like, oh, man, I just want to put the chicken in a can away for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to be able to like.
I want to be able to stand up and help.
I want to figure out how to get that from the table to the cabinet.
Yeah.
Without literally cracking my skull on the tile. Like, like if I can figure out how to do that, like, I would so gladly do that.
Right.
Um,
So what you got to do now is no, I don't ever want to say what you have to do. Like that's not the right way to talk, but it's like you utilize the.
wait, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, of course.
The way you said that. You know those things that are going around right now where it's like, say you're, tell me when you were born by not telling me when you were born.
Yeah.
Someone posted, tell me you're a New Yorker without saying you're a New Yorker. And I was like, I ain't got to prove shit to nobody. Don't tell me what to do.
That's great.
Like,
yeah. So what you got to do is.
No, seriously, tell me what to do.
Well, I mean, it's a method that's worked for me, and everybody's different. But what we referenced earlier is the put a bird on it, put a flagpole, put a marker, a mental marker of how you feel now, and and put a marker on, like, look at where you were. It's always helpful for me to look back at where I was and almost like reflect on the negativity that doesn't exist anymore, and like the negative thought patterns and all that stuff, and then come to where I am now. Come to, like we talked about last week, I came to a lot of realizations that I was doing things that were like affecting everybody around me, and I feel bad for it. So I let myself process it, and I take responsibility for it, and I move forward and like hope that I've done as much as I can with what I've been given to be where I am now. You know what I mean? So like for you have a lot of time to sit there and think, and that's like sometimes good for people, but a lot of the times bad for people. Like sitting there and thinking about like, I'm not on the road and I can't put the can away and everything sucks. Like I can't leave my house. It's better to reflect on how far you've come, because that's a better feeling, a better mental feeling anyway. I had two people here today to tell me, it's going to cost X $1,000 to fix the basement, and we got to do this and you got to do that. And yeah, the previous sellers obviously knew that there was something wrong, and they, this should have been caught, like all this. And those are like these are the things that I'm dealing with, that I could easily just be like, fuck, everything sucks, and I'm gonna go be in a bad mood. And actually I did that earlier today. My bandmates wanted to get together as like a small distance hangout today. We wanted to get together and just kind of like regroup and see where everybody's at. And I legit texted everybody and I said, I don't want to. I'm not there. I was like, maybe after the podcast if I feel a little bit better. But like I was like, two guys came by and told me it was going to be like all this money and all this work, and it's just a lot of that negativity that I let it be negative. I can't just be like, okay, I can't accept it. The way I process things is like, let me put all the negativity on it and then like feed on it. It's just kind of the way my brain processes. But I told the band group chat, I was like, you know what? I don't want to, maybe I'll feel better, but I'm just like, I want to wallow in this, but that's okay. Like I'm still the person I was before I knew this, and I'm still like going to come through it. I've just realized that it's like okay to also be in a mood. You're like allowed, like you don't have to beat yourself up over it. You're like we talked about when you dropped the stuff and you felt bad and it was like, oh man, it's the end of the world. But you can feel that way, but it's in the end, you got to realize you're like, you know what? Everything's going to be all right and things are better. And and the doctor's appointment isn't going to be canceled because there isn't any ice on the ramp and you're going to be able to get inside. You know what I mean?
Oh, now it's going to be very cold though. And I'm going to catch pneumonia because my foot's exposed.
Well, at least you'll be in a hospital, so it'll be all right.
But then I'll be in the COVID wing. They'll think it's COVID. Then I'll get COVID. And I'll die of COVID.
Jesus. It's all that snowball thinking. It's like, yeah, you and I are very similar in that. It's just like, I talked to my therapist about that. That was one of the things that I first started. He first noted when I started like talking. It was the first time I ever talked about like how I process things and how I look at things, and everything was like just a massive river of what if this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and he's always just like, how do you know? Like, how do you know that's going to happen? And I'm like, well, it's just gotta, because it's the worst possible outcome, and that's what my life is like. You know what I mean? It's like, he's like, your life doesn't have to be that way, and you don't know. He's just straight up like, can you tell the future? Are you psychic? No, I'm not. Then don't assume that the worst thing is going to happen. Always.
When you assume, you're an asshole. That's the saying, right?
That's it. That's the one.
Okay. They had that on network TV in the 80s. When you assume.
Yeah, you could say ass, right? You can say ass.
Yeah.
But you are definitely a lot better than.
I'm a lot.
You're a lot, Neil. You're a lot.
I know. I've been told that many times.
Yeah, Neil, you're a lot.
I am a lot.
No, I obviously talking to you once a week, like we kind of agreed on, and like we always have been like, if we don't talk for a month or a year, we always can just come back to a conversation like it was yesterday, right? But we really like we'll exchange a couple texts here and there over the week, but using the analogy I've been using this episode about putting a marker, like if I look back to every Monday and your mood and your vibe and just how you feel, like you've come a long way. So I'm proud of you on that, because it's hard. It's a hard thing, like to be.
Dude, it's because of this. It's because of these conversations.
That's good. That's great. I'm glad.
You really are. You have been not a proxy. What's the
Jesus? I've been Jesus. No.
Jesus.
No, your savior.
You're my hero. What's the word? Not a substitute, but like a substitute. Thesaurus. Thesaurus. Synonym for substitute.
I'm so invested in what I am and what word this is going to be.
Proxy. Surrogate.
Okay. So I'm a surrogate for what?
Right one. I think proxy's also good. You've been like a good surrogate.
Raising your child. And then I'm going to give it to you. Is that what happens?
I put a baby in you. Surrogate's not right. You've been a good, proxy, I think is right. You've been like, for a therapist, you've been like a.
Okay. All right. That's for like, you were missing the for a noun there. Well, I'm glad because I still have a lot of work on myself to do, but I think the conversations are just like, for both of us, are a point every week to kind of like assess where we're at and just be like, all right, if I want to work on something, I can. If I want to talk about something, I can. And I've been getting a lot of feedback from friends and acquaintances too, that they're listening to the pod and really enjoy what we're doing and appreciate it too. So I want to just publicly thank everybody who has reached out and just said positive things. It's like really cool that friends can listen. This is obviously this is a really deep, and it's a serious, but with a self-deprecating kind of comedy to it here and there, but it's a serious thing to listen to your friend talk about their mental health issues. But it's a lot of people are very appreciative that we're able to open up like this and stuff. So
I forgot all about the fact that we're on Facebook Live and didn't like.
Oh, you're not looking at the comments?
I didn't look at it. I didn't promote it. I didn't do nothing. I forgot all about it.
Look at that. How are we going to grow, Neil?
I know. I should kill myself.
How are we going to be sponsored by Blue Apron if you don't promote on Facebook Live? How are we going to be the next Fleshlight ambassadors if you don't promote?
I would love a Fleshlight endorsement. That's not true.
That's not true at all.
Anybody paying attention? So here we go. Here's this.
I
I'm not pausing.
I hate hearing
Still
myself.
have-
I hate hearing myself. Mute it.
I muted it.
Thank you.
This is the Porta Potty podcast. I don't know. I guess this guy thinks we're not good.
All right.
Um, Probably the worst. That's the worst dig I've ever heard. That's like a very bad, very bad attempt at humor. This guy calls himself a. Wait, impulse. No, this guy has a Porta Potty podcast.
You're putting it together.
So this guy's podcast is the Porta Potty podcast.
Okay, so he's promoting himself on
He's
our
promoting.
on our Facebook Live.
Yeah, but I mean, no one watches. We got one watcher. That's me.
That's
And
you.
one comment, that was him. And 3 likes, which is nobody. 3 likes is yeah.
Bot likes.
Yeah. Chris Britt. Oh, thanks for liking it, Chris Britt. Yeah, I don't know, man. This is but I know that people listen on Anchor.
Yeah. People listen.
And then like by the end of the week we'll have a bunch of views. It's very weird. I don't like you should put in that side thing where you do
Yeah.
You should do cadence there.
Oh, sure. That's right. Put that up next time. Yeah, next time we might have a guest and we'll expand the conversation a little bit and get another perspective.
What did I just want to do? I want to see on the page if we get views or not. How do I videos? There we go. This is riveting stuff for people who are watching. So they got. I mean, we guess we can't compare ourselves to other people. 287 views. That's all right. 279. That's all right. 350. All right, so we're in the like high 200s. And then I know that people listen on Anchor. So, all right.
So it's not all for naught. It is
not a complete waste of time, but
no, it wouldn't be. Even if it was just you and I talking.
yeah,
it's-
even if it's just, yeah. It's just I guess that's it.
Is that it for this week? Are we good?
That's it.
Yeah.
We're good.
You're good.
What want to do a guest? Is Scott available on Mondays? I guess we can record and
Yeah, it doesn't matter. We can always just do the fake live thing.
yeah. No, we'll be live.
I mean, we're live always.
We're alive. This is life. You ever watched This Is Life with Lisa Ling?
Yeah, I really like that show.
She's a very good
Journalist.
journalist. And did you see the psychedelic drugs episode?
I kind of remember it, but I haven't watched it in a really long time. I remember when she went undercover with the drug dealer.
There was this last couple weeks. There was about legalizing mushrooms
Mm-hmm.
and like the research on LSD and stuff. And they were talking about MDMA, and she was like, "I used to be a raver," and then they were like, "Joseph heard a rave."
No way. That's awesome.
She's like, "My experience with MDMA is not that it is good for." It was awesome.
She's like, absolutely not. What is that on? What channel is that on? Or is
Hey,
it,
what is that? CNN?
that seems right? Yeah,
Lisa
CNN.
Ling, CNN? Yeah, it's CNN.
All right. Well,
Yeah, CNN. It's good. It's still on. This season just ended, Kathleen. That was the last episode.
I'll have to look at.
But I'm sure it's on demand, right? You don't even have real TV, right?
I
You
don't
just-
have. No, I just stream.
Yeah, so it's
Wings channel on Pluto has been the only thing that I've watched. So I don't watch anything else. It's just it is.
So does it just run the whole series in order consecutively?
No, it doesn't. It runs random ass episodes all over the place. It's just like season 7, then season 2. It's just like bloop 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 bloop. So
You don't need to watch all the seasons to get it either. Though,
no, you
right?
don't. You know, there's characters that were introduced in the later seasons that you're like, wait, where did so and so go, and why is this fake one here, like that kind of thing. But you know, you don't really have to keep up that
I
much.
imagine watching Last Man Standing out of order would be brutal because new people play old roles. Thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the oldest daughters changed after the first season. The middle daughter changed when they switched from ABC to Fox. The baby daddy changed after the first season. The young child changed like twice and is now gone completely. They replaced it with a girl. And they didn't even mention Boyd in that last episode. Oh, there was an Asian exchange student for one season. Yeah, but they didn't even mention Boyd. Like they had the whole time there was a grandson. The whole show.
Mm-hmm.
Then they did a time jump. The first episode of this season. They put the 2 girls to sleep. No grandson. Totally gone. No mention of him.
That's it. Like Aunt
That's
Viv. Like Aunt Viv in Fresh Prince. She was just gone. One episode she's there. The next episode she's gone.
He's gone. All right.
Well, we're gone. Just like Aunt Viv. We'll be back with a better and brighter Aunt Viv next time.
I miss Aunt Viv.
Yeah.
How did you see the? All right, we'll talk later.
All right. Thanks for being you. Good job, Neil.
You see the Saved by the Bell reboot?
No.
The lead, the main girl, we have the same agent.
Oh, look at that. You're famous.
Clearly treated differently.
Clearly.
Goodbye, Rich. I'll see you. I'll talk to you later today.
Absolutely.
I'll hopefully see you, but I will talk to you later today, and I will see you.
See you next Monday.